Half an hour.
Well, every time you think it's over, it's not.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
And we are now live for another episode of The Dorkening, and tonight's going to be an awesome episode, like every single episode. We're going to be talking about horror TV and comics, and we have some special guests as well. But as always, we have Yo-Yo.
Hey, everybody.
Senior Alex.
Grass. Hello. What? I want to say gracias, but that's not right. Please don't let my Latino friends watch this.
And our brother from a different pod, Abe from Dark Discussions Podcast.
Meow. Hello.
Hello. And a very, very special guest. JD, I'm going to torture your last name. Is it Oliva?
Oliva. Yep, first time.
Awesome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm JD. First of all, thanks for having me on. I can't tell you how much I just love those show graphics, from the waiting music, which is going to be burrowed into my skull for the rest of the time, to the sweet intro piece. I'm blown away already. My name is JD Oliva. I'm a writer, horror and thriller writer. I also co-host a couple different podcasts. One is Superhero Speak. It's like a nerd culture show. We talk about comics and movies and stuff like that. Another one called the Story Builder Podcast, where me and my brother and my brother is another writer, and our cousin, he's an assistant director with the Directors Guild of America. We get together and we take a concept and we try to build a story in just under an hour. So it's like a show. We put together high concepts and try to flesh them out in time, and it's an excuse to get together and bullshit. But other than that, man, that's kind of what I do.
That's awesome. And you have a couple books out as well, and we have a bunch of links for you in the show notes. What about the 2 books you got going right now?
So right now I've got 2 books that I'm pushing. They're both horror stuff with Halloween right around the corner. The first is my first book. It's called Hallow. It's kind of like a Stranger Things vibe to it. It's about a bunch of 7th graders who get trapped inside of a commercial haunted house where, like the ones you visit every Halloween that have people working in them. The problem is the people working at them are actually redneck demonic jinn that have possessed the workers. So they're actually killing people inside this haunted house, and they've got one night to survive.
Awesome.
Thank you. The second book I'm pushing is Harvest Moon. We just ran a Kickstarter for this book. It's my most successful book. It's the story of a retired police detective who comes back to the job to kind of investigate one last copycat crime kill, and it turns out the killer is a werewolf, and he's got similar idea. You got you're counting down to where he's trying to prevent the killer from killing his own son.
Oh wow!
So yeah,
Cool.
that's what I write. A lot of horror with they're really thrillers with horror elements in them, but that's my thing.
Nice. And for those of you, we love supporting indie artists, so definitely check out the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening to us. And also, somebody else has a recent book out.
Oh yeah, you got the variant. Sweet.
Yeah. Alex, what is this?
That is Victor Crowley's Hatchet Halloween Tales 2, which is if you're aware of the Adam Green's Hatchet franchise, they do an anthology each year, at least they attempt to. And for this year, they actually had Adam do a story for it, which is what I illustrated.
And
Oh wow.
That looks awesome, man.
I didn't do the cover.
That cover looks awesome, man. Let's pass that information along. I can't wait to check it out.
So if you order this, it's $14 through Aeroscope. Link is in the show notes, and Adam Green signs it.
Yep, if you go directly to his website, I'm going to see if I can find something that's not too spoilery. Yeah, how about this little bit with little Tom Crowley? There we go. Focus! Focus! Why won't it? Oh, the true horror. True absolute horror.
Well, and I also have, this isn't from the comic, though, but it's...
Well, have you read the comic yet?
Yeah,
you didn't. It's in the comic. Great job, Leo. I'm glad you're such a good friend.
Do you see it's bagged and backed? And I have a hard time opening comics when they're bagged and backed.
There's 3 variants, Leo. Did you just get one to support your friend?
I just got one.
It's okay. It's fine. It came on your show, didn't I?
You did, and I love you for it, Alex.
Right in there. I'm not going to show you all of it. You're going to have to go get it yourself.
Yeah.
Go to Aeroscope.com. You can get it signed by Adam
honestly
Green.
surprised you only bought one.
I thought about buying more than one, but it's
You
funds
thought
are
about
really tight, so I supported you, Alex. Put money down.
So I guess this is a cold open where you stab your friend in the back, huh?
One of those kind of shows.
Yeah.
Not me.
Now play the intro. That'd be appropriate.
So I know there's a lot of different shows and comics. It's I know a lot of people don't read a lot of the horror comics, but like Walking Dead, I know Yo-Yo, you're big into it. What are some of the shows that you guys really enjoy? Did you guys? I know we didn't really put together a list, but what are some of your favorites? Let's start with JD for like a horror show. What's some of your favorites?
Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, this show just premiered last week, but it's based on one of my all-time favorite Marvel properties, and that's the Hellstrom show. And
yes,
I've only seen 2 episodes of it so far, but I really like it. Like I really think they hit on the old Steve Gerber books that I love, and they're doing their best not to try to be a Hellblazer or a Constantine knockoff, and I appreciate that. So I like what I'm seeing so far with the show, and it's got my attention. I'm having a great time with it.
nice. Yeah, I'm 2 episodes in myself, and I'm really enjoying it. Anybody else watching Hellstrom?
See, I'm glad other people are enjoying it because I was worried about like trying to watch it and then like not liking it. I was like, I really want to enjoy this, so, and I hate to be disappointed, so I'm kind of like holding off. But now I can comfortably watch it.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Patricia is asking, how do I get the books for JD's books? There's a couple Amazon links in the show notes. And for Alex, there's a link for Ariscope for the Hatchet Halloween comic. And or check with your local comic shop as well.
And they have different variant covers. Even one with a bare-chested woman, if you're into that. Or not. Whatever you're into. It's Halloween.
What about Abe or Alex? Either of you watching Hellstrom?
I haven't got a chance to check it out, honestly. I actually have a number of shows I want to check out, but been so busy with work, and also I'm also very careful what kind of shows I try to start because some don't last very long, or they kind of just fall apart really quickly. You know, it's kind of always a toss up when you want to get really invested in a show. I mean, for a while I was into The Walking Dead when it first started, and then after just kind of got into seasonal rot, I was just like, I don't, no more, please. No more.
Yeah, same boat there. Same with also comics too. We're getting heavily invested in something like, oh, well, this hit a wall, and I guess we're going to remain here to remain in this status quo, which is always fun in comic books where it's like, wow, are they going to do something different? No.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes comics I think are a little more welcoming in that sometimes you get cool mini stories on certain series and franchises, like standalones or experimental ones. Those are always kind of fun. Some big names in the horror genre sometimes get their own comic adaptations or variations. Aliens, for example, was really big. It still has. Actually, they released recently a storyline of an unfinished script for Alien 3 that kind of told the story that they were going to show. They had some actual releases for Pumpkinhead. There's a little mini series there for comics. Actually had the first installment of a Hellraiser series as well. So there's always these really cool little stories you can find there, and I think they're a little more accessible because they're usually a lot shorter. You know, you're not spending like hundreds of episodes or seasons waiting, and then suddenly you just feel a letdown. It's like, maybe first like 3 or 4 issues, and then that's a nice little meal. But it's always you're still flipping the coin though.
I did enjoy they did a Friday 13th comic series, and I kind of liked how they took care of the lore there. They even kind of spelled out more of like the history of Camp Coastal Lake and stuff like that. I enjoy it when horror comics clearly are made with love. And like I don't know if you guys ever seen like Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, the comic series.
Oh, I've always wanted to read that. That looked like a lot of fun.
Oh, it was pretty fun. And do you guys remember the Brood from the X-Men? Those villains. So Disney they're ripoff of Aliens essentially, but xenomorphs are now owned by Disney. Can't they just use?
So strange now.
Yeah. So can't they just, instead of using the Brood, actually now just use xenomorphs? Because it'd be kind of weird that using something they already technically own, or just technically make the Brood a type of xenomorph now.
You know, every time I hear the word "the Brood," I keep thinking of those weird kids from the horror movie, The Brood.
This book series was fun and action. Oh yeah, I'll definitely want to check that out.
Jerks, where can you find that?
What'd you call us?
Jerks Productions.
Hey, jerks, where do you find that?
So let's rewind a little bit back to Walking Dead, because I got my wife into it late into it, and since it's still going on, we stuck with it. Just watched the season 10 finale. That was like several months past due. Anybody else sticking with it?
Nope.
Really?
Never seen it.
Really?
I read the first trade and didn't like it, so I never read another one. I never watched the show.
What didn't you like about it?
I don't dig zombies all that much. Like, especially long-term zombie, like long-form zombie storytelling. I think it tends to wallow too much in nihilism, and it's just not what I'm into. And I also like stories that are a little bit more condensed, with a clear beginning, middle, and end. Because, like you talked about earlier, the meandering that some long-running series kind of reach.
Yeah,
I prefer something that's a little bit more compact. Like,
that's fair. I mean, that's the whole experience of The Walking Dead. It's just like it's a zombie movie that continues. But
right.
you heard about the original pitch, right?
Oh yeah, I know the whole thing behind it. I came up through Andy Schmidt's Comics Experience classes, and we did a whole seminar with Robert Kirkman, and he went through the whole thing with us, and I politely smiled and nodded along the entire time.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, he's a nice guy.
He's super nice.
Yeah, and not like that just with Walking Dead, but like kind of zombies in general just really aren't my thing. I'm just not into them.
Well, it was a very heavily saturated. It still is a heavily saturated subgenre.
Insanely.
Yeah, I mean, beforehand though, when The Walking Dead first released, we had zombie everything. You had World War Z. We had
name 32 of them.
But it was just, it was just something that after a while just kind of lost its luster, because it's hard to really try to do that subgenre without hitting familiar territory. It was like, oh, the person wakes up and it's a zombie apocalypse. Oh, here's this, these survivors drawing out this is, this struggle against the undead, and then every other asshole who tries to kill them. And it's like, which so if you say that kind of in a synopsis kind of way, you're like, what series is that again? But I don't know. I don't hate zombies, but I can't really get into it as much as I did beforehand. It's just something that's, I think I'm with JD. It just feels like it's kind of like beating a undead horse.
Yeah, like when 28 Days Later came out, I loved it. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And then it's everything's kind of been the same for a long time, it feels like. For me, like I said, I'm not that invested. Yeah, it is. It's zombies. That's why if you're either into it or you're not.
What about video games?
They're not zombies.
I'm sorry?
Yo-yo?
Which
Yo-yo? What was that? I'm sorry, Yo-yo, what did you say?
They had a form of rabies. They're not zombies.
They did. That's why I liked it, because it was it is zombies, but not zombies. I dug that because it was a little different, and I felt like it bookended, which is
because there's a finality to it. I mean, there are still people that at some point they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
I also love ones with a little mix of humor sometimes, like Night of the Creeps, which is a lot of fun. That was pretty weird, but it was a lot of fun. It's like a mix of genres. Shaun the Dead will always be one of my favorite horror comedies ever. So there's moments where some brilliance shines through in this, but except for video games, I can actually I always want to revisit like Left 4 Dead, for example. That's always a blast. Yep. That's always a lot of fun. But I'm not really slamming anybody who still enjoy it. It's just, for me, it's just like I feel like it needs to try something a little more risky to draw me in, especially if it's going to be like a series.
I still think Resident Evil's doing pretty good.
It is. It's actually making quite a comeback. But I think what helps Resident Evil is that it's not just zombies the player faces against. It's other entities and stuff like that, which adds a little spice.
At least they went back to just doing horror again instead of having Chris Redfield punching boulders to get away to. That was so insane that it got to that point. They fought a giant fly and then a T-Rex, and Capcom still ignore Dino Crisis for some reason. Whatever.
Dino Crisis was actually pretty cool. I love the idea of the dinosaurs in survival horror.
Yeah, but why don't they do that today? We're talking
I don't
about
know.
Board of Zombies. Why not just like, okay, now
Actually,
Dino Crisis?
it's actually kind of funny you say it because there's been a number of like dinosaur horror-oriented games being released. There was a short game called Oakwood where you're pretty much surviving in a camp that's overrun with dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah, there's a kind of almost like a survival science fiction one, almost like that third Dino Crisis when it's in space, but it's like Earth is taken over by dinosaurs. Something like Primal Instinct or something like that.
Oh, yep.
Second Extinction. Second
Oh,
Extinction.
for love of God, please don't let Paul W.S. Anderson get his hands on Dino Crisis now. we already got Monster Hunter. I don't even play the games. I already know how off that is.
And there's how many Monster Hunter games are coming out? There's like 3 new ones coming out soon.
Yeah, there's of course the one continuing on the current consoles. There is one on the what's the name of the new system? Nintendo Switch.
George brings up Turok.
Oh yeah, Turok. Oh my god. Oh, that was
yeah, Jerk. Check out the remake. Check out the remakes, Jerk.
There was Monster Hunter Ultimate, there's Monster Hunter World, and I think there's going to be another one being released. Oh, it's an MMO. Online kind of Monster Hunter.
It's an MMO?
Yeah. Which is kind of weird because you can still play with a bunch of people during the hunt on the other consoles, even PC. I don't get it, but it's
How does a cat play video games?
I've adapted. Plus, you don't want to see a cat with thumbs. It's quite unpleasant.
He's actually.
Well, this is horror themed, isn't it? Is there such thing as like body horror with like a fly type situation with giving a cat thumbs?
that actually reminds me of that Tales from the Dark Side story from the movie, The Cat from Hell. Yeah, there is.
All I can remember is my aunt's cat Inga and how that used to harass my entire family. He was a piece of shit. I'm glad it's dead and burning in hell. Like, I don't believe in shit, but I know there's a hell specifically for that motherfucker, and I hope it's burning alive. I love cats, but that thing should be burning like it's ashy fur. It's such an evil little cat. Damn you, Inga. Damn you forever.
That's a strange name for a cat. Inga.
Yeah, I was a small kid. They were just like, here comes Inga. It's like, I don't want this cat. I don't want him near me. She would come up all nice to you and be like, oh, you sit in the lap, and as soon as you pet her, she'll go ape shit and like tear your face off. Just, God, burn.
So, Yo-Yo, what about you? A comic series or horror TV show that you really enjoyed?
I mean, if we're thinking about lately,
another
zombie. Oh, let's bring up another zombie one. Black Summer.
Black Summer, yeah, for Netflix, right?
Yeah, I'm still super confused on how it had anything to do with Z Nation.
Is it supposed to be like a prequel?
I don't know how the world you can connect it to, because Z Nation is like a totally different feel than Black Summer.
Huh, that's strange.
Anybody else watch that or Z Nation? No?
I saw like an episode of Z Nation. It's kind of like this kind of wasteland zombie story. And watching the trailer for Black Summer, it looks like current day, like the outbreak is just happening. So it is kind of jarring to have that be some sort of prequel, or unless they just want to try to make their own expanded zombie universe or something like that.
I don't know what the aim was, but Black Summer is totally different than Z Nation. I tried watching Z Nation after watching Black Summer. I was like, oh, well, maybe this will be... No, I just really couldn't get into Black Summer. Black Summer is really good, though.
So what drew you into Black Summer?
honestly, Netflix and their algorithms and changing the thumbnails. So, I mean, the gory
You
thumbnail
got
shows
swindled into watching it?
that gory thumbnail, man.
Works. Thumbnails work. The algorithm works.
Totally. It was shot. It was very unique because that was the one where it was like 5 different storylines going on at once, and they all like intertwined. What about you, Alex?
For comic shows or
Either one, whatever you want.
I do. I haven't checked out the show yet, but I still really do love Lock and Key.
Oh yeah.
And there was a small, tiny comic I checked out a while ago, a horror comic called Cut, where it was a girl that woke up in this abandoned little house, and there seems to be some sort of giant vampiric like bat creature scuttling around the halls, and she's trying to figure out a way to escape.
Oh,
That sounds cool.
it does.
Yeah, it's called Cut. It's a small, like, tiny book. It's actually physically a little small. You can find it in most comic shops.
Cut. Okay.
Write that down.
And I have, it might not be the scariest, but I still have a deep love for Pinocchio Vampire Slayer.
What?
There's this book where this
Do
guy
tell.
continued the story of the original Pinocchio story, and like the actual like story where he didn't turn into a real boy or anything, but he discovered that the wood that he's particularly like carved from is like nearly acidic to vampires. So when he lies, he basically grows a stake out of his face, breaks it off, and uses it.
Genius.
That's amazing.
Also, since it's based on the original one, I love if you guys don't know the original story, you know Jiminy Cricket, right? His Confidence, most Disney made popular. Well, when that thing first tried to talk Pinocchio, Pinocchio took off his shoe and beat him to death. So he comes back as a tiny little ghost cricket that follows him around.
Yeah, I heard the original stories. It's pretty damn dark.
Yeah, they all seem to, you know, I'm glad over time we were kind of like, okay, let's take the foot off the gas a little bit on certain fairy tales.
It's kind of Disney's thing. They just, like you just said, take the gas off of just about everything.
Oh.
They're all super dark before.
Oh yeah, about almost every story that they adapted has some kind of downer ending. You know, Mulan commits suicide. The Little Mermaid sacrifices herself. It's almost every story has some kind of horrible twist ending.
Well, I guess the new Mulan movie did it justice. Or at least at the box office.
Oh man. I mean, especially with a Stark story like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, you know, they still did a pretty damn good job with that one. You know,
I still got scared by that when I watched it as a kid.
Oh well, it was amazingly dark. I mean, it was just, it touched on so many themes that you would think Disney would try to stray away from because, you know, they're usually very jumpy about those kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if that's not a movie they definitely make today with how careful they are now, I mean, even going back and editing their stuff they have in the streaming platforms, even that censoring up, cutting out scenes from Toy Story 2 to make it less Epstein-y. Or, no, not Epstein.
Weinstein?
Weinstein, that's it. Yeah, because they got rid of that scene at the end where Petey was hitting on the Barbies because they didn't want to imply this plastic doll banged with other plastic dolls in a fake outtake.
Don't forget the splash edit they did.
Oh yeah, the hairy butt.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen that? The splash censorship on Disney Plus?
No.
Oh, it's amazing.
I heard about it, but
yeah. So you know that scene in Splash where she's running towards the water, jump in. There's like a shot of her ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just CG'd her hair like further down, and it's just over her ass cheeks. So it looks like she has like a Sasquatch ass as she runs into water. YouTube it later. It's amazing, but also I'm sure it's awakening weird fetishes in people today.
The time effort that took to do. It's so stupid. Like that costs them time and money to do something that ridiculous.
If I was paid to do that, I would so gladly do it, and I would tell everyone I know that I was that guy.
Because you got a hell of a story for the rest of your life after that.
You're the guy in the corner of the dive bar is like, hey, you know that Disney Plus.
Well, it's not as bad as that new Greedo cut.
What do they do now?
Really?
Oh, you didn't? What the hell does he say? You guys haven't heard about this? The Greedo cut with
No.
Star Wars Dynamite years ago.
So when the hand shoots first, they changed it back, but Greedo now shoots. Says some. Oh, what the hell does he say? I'm trying to find it online.
I'm your father, Han.
I think that's it. A clunky.
Oh yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
Why don't they just like reshoot that scene at this point? That scene's been so tweaked for so long. You might as well just get Harrison Ford to come back and put dots on his face to young him up a bit, and then just reshoot it if they're going to keep dicking with that scene for the end of eternity. It feels.
They should do that, but they shouldn't bother like actually
Agent, yeah.
doing an agent. Just keep the dots all over his face.
I want that.
Well, Harrison Ford has a new show coming out. I think it's
Really?
Yeah, it's a comedy. I'll find out the name, but while I do that, Abe, what about you?
Well, as I said, I've been careful of certain shows and stuff like that. But I've been interested in the Haunted of Bly House. That looks kind of pretty cool, but it's another reason why I'm so careful of Netflix shows, because Netflix has this bad habit of just axing their shows so quickly. You know, it's a lot of the shows don't have much longevity. Like my brother, for example, was trying to get me into Santa Clara Diet.
Oh,
and that series just got completely canned out of nowhere. I don't know. There's just, and then there was oh crap. Well, what show they haven't canceled yet? Oh boy. But let me think. Well, actually, I do remember a comic that horror comic. It's more on the comedic side, but out of memory, nostalgia. With some of Johan Vasquez's work. I've always enjoyed.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I always enjoyed like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
And Squee.
Yes, Squee. Oh my lord. Yeah.
I always wanted an adaptation of Squee.
Oh lord, that'd be hard. That'd be so hard to get out in this day and age.
Come on, Shudder. Come on.
Shudder can do it. I bet Shudder can pull it off. I mean, I love those because Johan Vasquez has such an unapologetic way of approaching his humor. Like he doesn't give a fuck what he wants to say. There was one skit he had done where he was literally going after his detractors who were always angry at him for some weird reason. He did an entire section on that was involved around a obnoxious stick figure. I also remember Roman Dirge's work, who did Lenore, the Little Dead Girl series.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
It was basically this undead girl who, with her little friend who's a vampire turned into a doll ragamuffin, and again, who's all these weird antics and stuff like that. It's a mix of lighthearted and more playful than Vasquez's work. Unfortunately, he hasn't really been doing too much. I know he's been dealing with injuries since the hit and run incident.
You what? The hit and run? What?
Yeah, so So one day, Roman Dirge was got hit by a taxi, and his legs got really messed up. And the taxi company wouldn't give up whoever the driver was, and so he had to go through some surgeries and stuff like that. And I know he's doing better, but it was quite a mess. But
Yeah.
I know that. I mean, it's understanding, but that's, I imagine that it's been kind of. Also, he's kind of been kind of creative roadblock in terms of trying to do anything else, because Lenora was his golden goose. He had tried. He tried at one point tried to cancel the series, and people weren't really happy about that. He did do a small book called Monsters in My Tummy, which is kind of more of an emotional story in personifying the body parts of a human being. Not all of them, of course, but it was more about. It's a really interesting one. His drawings have a very playful kind of Tim Burton-ish look.
Yeah.
I think but I think I recommend them if you're looking for a more playful side to the horror. If you want more apologetic and more wicked, I would definitely go in Vasquez. They're both really good. It's a lot of fun. I know that they've been continuing the Invader Zim series through comics as well. Great series, yeah. Which is made me glad, because I know it was. I don't know why exactly the series got canceled initially, but
I think it was the studio was possibly out for it in the beginning. I mean, they had to can it. Oh wait, I think it was because there was a guy that caused a shooting and cited one of the Invader Zim episodes to be one of his influences.
Really?
Yeah, it was the Stealing Organs episode.
Oh God.
Yeah, apparently that was a thing. Also, Jerk pointed out that there was also. I'm sure this wasn't the reason it got canceled, but they got criticized, I guess, for they wanted to put Gurr covered in blood in the show, but they could, the execs did not want that, so they hid a blurry, a quick frame of Gurr covered in blood in the opening intro, following in the next few seasons, where for a slight moment, Gurr just flashes on the screen, just covered in blood.
That okay, but they were still willing to put an episode where Zim organ harvests his entire school,
and it was pretty tame for the most part.
I know, but it's just it's kind of strange. It's the standards,
Well, I mean, also that we were kind of in Gross is in for the most part in the late '90s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's all about Gross. I mean, that's why it's you can't reboot Shrek. I know they're gonna try. You can't reboot Shrek. All the grossness was distinctly in that time. We even had episodes of Cat Dog where Cat reversed out of his own skin like a puppet to get out of Dog's mouth while being inside out.
Oh, I remember that. Yes. Oh my Lord. And then of course you had Our Real Monsters, which was all about the gross as well. A lot of the
Rugrats were cute designs, and then they made them all grown up, and they're fugly humans. So I would consider that a horror show all in itself.
I don't know what they were thinking. It was such a weird idea, even because it was all based off one little small episode that was supposed to be a special, and then they're like, "Hey, let's try this."
There's money to be made. That's why.
Not much.
You want to hear something else that's pretty scary? There's rumor they're going to actually reboot Rugrats, but with CG babies.
Why?
That's messed up.
That sounds uncanny valley to the max.
I hope they all look like the original design for Sonic the Hedgehog.
That'd be horrifying.
That's all I want. I want everything to burn.
Oh, and speaking of cartoons that were really great in horror, Courage the Cowardly Dog was amazing.
Oh yeah.
That was special. That was something real. I mean, not only did it have, of course, it had a growth factor of the 2000s and stuff like that, but it did have some really emotional stories. There was the Star Makers, the squids in space.
That is true.
It was basically a story about these celestial squids that What?
Oh, sorry. I mean, like George pointed out that like every opening to the Rugrats is very suggestive. They did super close-ups of everyday objects to make them into pure horror. That is true. Angelica had a nightmare where she had an older brother that was going to eat her.
Oh,
Now
yes!
she fell down the hierarchy totem pole, and now she's going to learn her lesson, which is something you definitely want to, give to kids. I mean, 90s cartoons in general. I mean, I had the shit scared out of me by a few Hey Arnold episodes because when they cranked it to horror, they did not, hold back. Like his inbred, cousin coming after him when he went over to the
when he
fields,
dreams, when he gets kind of chilled with the corn right there.
It's canon.
I remember that one. And there was Wheeze and Ed.
Wheeze and Ed, the headless cabbie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, got you all covered. There's also a monster fish that lives in their city like pond. That's a thing. It just lives there.
Just to rewind a little bit, JD, were you going to say something prior?
No, I was just agreeing and listening, man. I'm a little bit older than you guys, so I didn't catch like Hey Arnold and stuff like that, so I'm learning. But I remember Rugrats. That's accurate about everyday horror stuff.
Oh yeah, like it wasn't the first. There was like a fear of like Tommy going to the toilet, and they kept giving it like Dutch angles and like horror shots to up the terror of it.
Which is perfect because I have a 4-year-old right now, and it's funny listening to things that scare him. And like just the stuff that spooks him. So I didn't realize at the time, but Rugrats kind of perfectly encapsulates that in the way they portray a lot of those things. Smart show.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing something earlier about even today, which is weird time about Rugrats. About there was an episode where Chucky ate watermelon seeds, and so they had to do the thing where they jump in their body.
Yes,
so
it's supposed to grow.
Yes.
So he doesn't have straight up body horror, like explode with watermelons growing within him, which I'm sure kids imagined. Like what's the worst thing that can happen? Chucky can die.
I remember there was one episode where they literally were being attacked by dust bunnies, and there was these grotesque, dirty, filthy bunnies that were blind. They had no eyes, but they were made from dirt and dust, and they were hopping after the kids. And I was like, "Oh my lord! It really looks absolutely horrifying." It's just like,
so how you said that, it made me think of I can't remember the episode exactly, but the way you described it made me think of the clickers from The Last of Us.
Oh yeah,
or I'm thinking of Dust Bunny versions of those things. Oh, Tommy's dad was a robot. Yeah, why 90s? Why'd you have to? It's like they either made good things or they made things that were good, but also shit your pants scary for children. They even while we're bringing up like shows and whatever else. So in the 90s, there was a movie called Cry Baby Lane. Have you guys heard of that movie?
No.
There was this movie that was, and I will say this from my own personal experience, I thought this movie was a fever dream until like probably 5 years ago now. Yeah. I thought it was a complete fever dream because I saw promos for this. It was just on television for like a Halloween special that I heard nothing about it for years. And no follow-up the next year, no nothing. And there was not much, I didn't have internet, whatever else. So I figured like, it was nothing. Come to find out, they actually made this horror movie, put it on Nickelodeon. And as it aired, they got so many calls from upset parents because it was so scary. After one night of airing, they pulled it from the network.
Really?
They never showed it again. It's all free on YouTube now in high definition. It's all free. I checked it out again. It genuinely is pretty scary. It's a pretty scary thing. Okay. So the movie is about two, I think they're Siamese, like two Siamese twins, where one of them's good, the other is evil. And when they died, they were separated and put in different graves. The good one was put in the neighborhood graveyard, and the bad one was buried somewhere in Crybaby Lane. So the kids in the movie, the protagonist goes and they play the Ouija board at the graveyard to talk to the good twin, but accidentally bring back the spirit of the evil twin. They're actually switched. and a lot of creepy shit starts happening, and like it starts to infect the town. Where like people start getting possessed. Like there are people like in the neighborhood getting white eyes. There's even like weird, creepy, surreal moments. Like the main kid is like running across town in just his underwear, trying to hide out from people trying to find him because people are like weirdly possessed in the middle of the night. He almost got charged by a bull because his brother stripped him down or something. It's weird. And he sees like his girl crush in the middle of this cornfield. Like imagine this visual. He's in a cornfield. He's in front of the girl he likes with all these other girls around him. And they go like, hey, do you like me, right? Do you want to kiss me? And this is weird, especially for a kid. So it, like has that weird, nervous-y kind of like feeling. She sticks out her tongue and a spider crawls out of her mouth onto the tip of her tongue.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And it's just creepy. And there's even a shot where they pan down through the ground and show like one of like the twins in this weird kind of gnarled state underground and just like I think lit up by like rim lighted by like red lights and stuff just to make it even scarier. And yeah, it's definitely like a bit above Goosebumps stuff, but also a lot better than most of some of the Proclaim Indie stuff I've seen, as you guys probably have seen as well.
I remember a series that was about So Weird. It was about this young girl and his father and brother going on these strange adventures, and they would run into all these supernatural things.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, there was one episode, for example, there was a dragon that was kind of this creepy gargoyle-like dragon was unleashed in a movie theater, and it was terrorizing everybody from the dark rafters and stuff.
That's what I wanted to bring for movie theaters now. That'd bring people back in their seats.
But it was a really cool series because there's always small standalone stories. I don't think it was meant, and it was so long because I can't remember. That was the one that stuck out to me the most because it was so eerie. It was as I said, it was kind of accessible. You didn't have to start from the beginning or the end. Well, you could, of course, maybe not the end, but I'm saying you could jump in at any point. Another series that I always enjoyed was a couple of the Goosebumps episodes. The Haunted Mask, for example, was always, stand out. The weird thing is that despite how low budget the effects were in animating the Cursed Mask, it really created this uncanny valley thing. If everyone has a chance, you can always look up the clip online. It's really unsettling. It's just like it's kind of this weird motion blurs, and masks start floating after the protagonist.
Are you talking about when they're ghosting, when they're chasing after her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that as a kid because that used to scare the ever-loving hell out of me because I would imagine, like, what were they planning to do? The mask is fused to her face. These other masks are trying to get her. So would that mean if they got on top of her, she would just be this weird, like face person? Would they try to claim different parts of her?
That'd be weird. Oh, that would.
Well, those were the nightmares I would have. I would be like, it's not the fascination. It's just like, what is the worst case scenario? It's like she would probably be like this weird, like if you were going to do like the bad end of the Haunted Mask, it would start off like years later where it didn't turn out well. And she has that green face iconically on a trench coat and drops it and is just full of faces and shit.
Oh my Lord. I would love that's so cool. Yes.
So
I'm gonna write that on my notes.
Just wanted to break in here for a second. I ran a poll on our Facebook group, and actually, while I go through this, we'll go to JD next if he had another show or comic for us. So we asked, what's your all-time favorite horror shows? With the number one votes was The Twilight Zone.
Yes.
Good stuff.
Next on the list was Tales from the Crypt, followed by Supernatural, Masters of Horror, American Horror Story, Stranger Things, Ash versus Evil Dead, The Walking Dead, Dark Shadows, the 60s.
American Horror Story, is that far up, really?
Yeah, American Horror Story was number 5 in the list.
Damn, really?
Yeah, and Dark Shadows from the 90s. Somebody put the 60s and the 90s. Outer Limits, and then just some one-offs: Svengoolie, Hannibal, One Step Beyond, Ghost Hunters, Twin Peaks, Night Gallery, and Buffy. The Haunting of Hill House got no votes.
There's some deep cuts in there for some old shows. I like that.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm also just surprised that like American Horror Story feels like more. It doesn't seem like, well, it's not that scary of a show to begin with, but I've never, for the most part, when people talk about it, all I've heard is people bitch about the show and not actually talk about how they like the show. Even people I know who like it, they like to complain about it.
It definitely seems like a show that is hate watched.
Yeah, it is the most like leather jacketed boyfriend, flicking his cigarettes, hanging out with everybody ever. Where he's like, he's such an asshole, then leave. And it's like, but I'm waiting for his character arc. I can change him. It'll get better.
I'm shocked the Haunting of Hill House didn't get any votes. That was really good.
I guess it might be because it's a little more of a slow burn than the other ones.
Yeah, that could be. I haven't even started Haunting of Bly House yet. But before we go to JD, just want to remind everybody, we love supporting indie artists. Definitely check the show notes for the Hatchet Halloween Tales 2. And with the link that we gave you, you can actually buy it, and it's signed by Adam Green. And also JD has 2 books. We definitely urge you to check them out. And speaking of JD, what do you got?
So one of my favorite horror stories that I've read ever is probably Fatale by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, the same team that did like Criminal and that kind of thing. Like it's I don't know if you guys have ever read it. It's about a woman who got kind of sucked into this Lovecraftian cult, and she's like eternally connected to this demon. And every story arc takes place in a different era, and it's all the same. It's like she meets someone, they fall in love, and then things just go really, really bad, and everybody winds up dying. And it's really connected. Like it's super influenced by both like crime noir stories of the 40s and then Lovecraftian horror themes. So I think that Brubaker does a really good job balancing the two out. And it's definitely one of my favorite series. It's one that I miss a lot. It was good. Did you guys ever read that?
No, that sounds interesting though.
It's super good. I highly recommend it. I think it kind of flew under the radar when it came out. It was an Image book. I want to say it came out probably 2011, 2012, something like that. And it lasted for about 3 or 4 years. It's a really good book.
Wow. The name of it again?
Fatale.
Speaking of Lovecraft, did you catch Lovecraft Country?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, we had a free HBO preview, so I watched the first 4 episodes, and then we lost our free preview, so I have to sucker my wife into getting it full time so I can finish it. But it was really good. I had not read the book, so I didn't know what to expect, and it was a lot more anthology than I was expecting it to be. Like it did a lot more like different chapters influenced by different Lovecraft stories rather than like one continuous story. It was a lot more, like I said, a lot more anthology than I expected, but I really liked it. I really enjoyed the characters. Some of the grossest things I've seen in a mainstream television show ever, but I really loved it. Like it was good. Like the first time I watched it, when I'm watching and Jackie Robinson kills Cthulhu with a baseball bat, I was like, I'm in. This is everything I like to read about. So I mean, this is good. As soon as I finish the show, I do want to go back and read the actual book for it. But I do like it. I have to finish it though.
Yeah, same here. I think I'm 3 episodes in, and I'm loving it so far. I just need to find time to get back into it. And Chris just joined us. Also, Raised by Wolves. I started watching that. That's pretty good as well.
It looks very strange, very surreal.
Yeah. How's it going, Chris?
Hey, what's up?
So we're talking about comics and horror TV shows.
Oh my God! Have you talked about Kindred yet? Are we allowed to even say anything about that?
It's if it's something you enjoyed, you can definitely talk about it.
It's a giant Spider-Man spoiler from a week ago.
Okay.
Okay, so Kindred has been this character that's shown up in the Spider-Man books for the last 50 issues, and everyone has been like trying to figure out who he is because he's like, "I hate you, Peter Parker. You're gonna
Is
die,
that
Peter
the
Parker."
caterpillar dude? Is that the dude with like the caterpillars and shit, or the centipedes or whatever?
Centipedes, yes, more terrifying.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna take my headphones off because I still don't know.
Okay. It pissed off all the fans, though, so maybe he wants to put his headset back on and save you the run.
Who was it?
Harry Osborn, which doesn't make any sense because Harry Osborn's been alive since One More Day, and everyone thinks Nick Spencer is slowly undoing the Mephisto deal that him and Peter and Mary Jane made way back in One More Day.
13
I
years
don't
ago.
think anybody wants to ever talk about One More Day ever again, just as much as Clone Saga.
Well, with Harry, when One More Day ended, Harry Osborn was alive again.
Mm-hmm. And they haven't done much with him in the last decade and a half since bringing him back to life.
Other than him becoming American Son and his son becoming Carnage Goblin Jr. in issue 800, no, you're right.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I can also see why they start to gravitate more telling stories with Miles, with Peter's complicated backstories.
You try to explain Spider-Man with the last least. Let's just do 20 years to somebody. That's like trying to explain Superman from the New 52 to whatever happened during Rebirth to now.
Oh, I told my friend, and I can tell you that's exactly what a Lovecraft reaction would be, looking into the abyss of trying to explain the it's like, see, this Superman that we know now is from the old universe, but the universe in the New 52 already exists, but now they're merged because Mr. Pixelic was pretending to be a different character at the time, but now they're in the same continuity, but now he's taken on the mantle of inform himself before he moved on so he can be with John Kent. John Kent is named after his Earth father and now is the new Superboy. So now there's another spin-off comic called Super Sons with Batman's son and Superman's son, which is a pretty good book. But anyway, Superman is still...
Wait, how did you explain to your friend about New 52 with Green Lantern? Everything about Green Lantern remained the same. However, in order for that to be true, Superman still has to have died at the hands of Doomsday, and Green Lantern still had to go cuckoo nutso and go, I have the power ring. I'm going to kill all the Green Lanterns and rebuild Coast City because Mongol destroyed my city, and I'm really sad I couldn't save a whole bunch of freaking comic book characters that nobody gave a shit about.
Well, I did have an answer for that. I told him just read Batman. And that was it.
That's a lot cleaner.
Yeah.
This is what I follow.
The Black Lantern.
Black Lantern ring.
So you're waiting for them all to be just dead and rebooted. I guess in a sense,
No,
DC Comics.
I'm just waiting till next weekend when it's Halloween, and then it all comes.
I also just feel that the Black Lantern essentially is what the model for DC Comics is. They'll just never let their characters die, and they'll just keep resurrecting them every single time. Oh God, what? Oh, got it. Dexter.
Dexter.
The Murderous Cat. That was on Superhero Girls. I put that on for my little 8-year-old cousin when she was over here as I was babysitting her. And Dexter showed up and she was asking about the original comics, and I was like, no, he's just a very sad kitty. Don't read anything further than that. It doesn't involve blood and horribleness. Did you know they have to be baptized in blood when you become a Red Lantern? How metal is that?
Yeah. You have to like throw up your heart or something like that.
Oh, that's messed up.
Green Lantern's done it. Guy Gardner's done it. Supergirl has done it. Or New 52 Supergirl. I don't even know if New 52 Supergirl is still the Supergirl.
And anyone that's ever worked at Hot Topic has.
Well, this is not Dexter, but you heard Dexter's coming back?
What?
My favorite Red Lantern.
Crappy season.
Yeah, they're and Michael C. Hall. So I don't know if it's a reboot or just a continuation. But it's a one-off revival series, it says. Yeah.
I think it's appropriate to bring back that surprise motherfucker Vine that came out years ago.
Yes.
Anybody remember that one?
Yeah.
It's appropriate to bring it back. Make it normal.
Who else watched Dexter? Nobody? Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know Dexter broke into the lab.
I mean, they honestly, if you watch Dexter, season 4 was really great. They had a good follow-up with season 5 when they had Julia, 10 Things I Hate About You. What's her name?
Julia Stiles.
Correct. The girl. They had this big plot line with girls and barrels, hookers and barrels. It was really dark, and it was the aftermath of Rita's death. Dexter, him and his kids, and it ends on this really happy note for Dexter. And it was a perfect ending to the entire show because he helped Julia Stiles' character get her revenge, and she went on her merry way. She lived. It was just such a perfect ending to the show. Then they did season 6, 7, and 8.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree.
And season 6 had a great opening episode. Dexter goes to his old high school reunion. That was a lot of fun, but the rest of season 6 was terrible.
I feel that. Did you guys see the trailers and previews for that new sci-fi show called Resident Alien?
No. I did see the one for Animaniacs, which I thought you would be excited about.
Not as scary, but I know it will be.
When I was watching that, I was thinking of you the entire time, Alex.
Well, when aren't you? No, but I'm excited for that show. But Resident Alien is it stars Alan Tudyk, and he is the town doctor that I guess they go to, and they have like this opening clip that I saw for it. These cops go out there to see him, to help him with a body they found in town, and what they don't know is that he's actually an alien that kind of took over this guy's body, and he's also seemingly an evil alien. So, but he is a very smart doctor, so who knows what that might be. So I'm excited. It's also Alan Tudyk. He's awesome.
Yeah.
What's that going to be on? What
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi, cool.
Okay, interesting.
So that will get canceled after a season or two, right?
No. It will be great and then get canceled.
This is why I'm so slow to invest in a series.
Hold on, it will be great, and then they'll purposely show the first season out of order, and then I'll get canceled.
And then you'll watch it. You'll be told 1,000 times that it's great, and then you won't watch it until it's over.
Yeah.
But there'll be hundreds of panels at sci-fi conventions like Aresia whenever they open up again.
And they'll go like, so again, Alan, just like that other show, you're on so many beloved shows that just die in front of you.
That what the hell was that DC show he did? Where it was a superhero company, or it was like a normal company, like in a superhero world.
Yeah. He was Bruce Wayne's cousin.
Yes, only lasted like one season. It was really good.
Didn't even last one season.
I always find it weird when they continue to give lineage to like Bruce Wayne, because doesn't it kind of half defeat the purpose of him? Do you think anybody would reach out like, hey, Bruce, I know things are tough, but I know you're traveling the world to some weird Himalayan mountains and shit and studying with some guy in Santana or whatever their name is. Need to talk? Your cousin's always here to help out. But no.
That cousin was introduced back in the 70s, but still, yeah, your point.
Well, there was also in like the Adam West Batman, he had like this aunt and whatever. It's just like they continue to give him lineage. That's always weird.
But wasn't that Grayson's aunt?
I think that was Dick
Also,
Grayson.
but also, I mean, if you checked out some other modern comics, you might be able to check out other supposed possible step siblings and other strip like that, because at the end of the day, everything's a soap opera.
By the way, the show was Powerless, and his name was Van Wayne.
Yes. And the girl lead character on that show, she was the best part.
Yeah, she was.
Wait, it wasn't Powerless. Powerless is the Brian Michael Bendis show.
That was Powers.
That's Powers.
Oh, that Powers. I'm only thinking Powerless because of the lead protagonist there.
Which, by the way, Powers finally came to an end. The Powers trade paperback The Best Years came out. It's like $25, but it's 2 jumbo-sized issues of Powers ending the Christian Walker story.
Oh, shit.
Huh.
He dies. It ends like the way you think it does.
What, that you just spoiled it? Well, you literally just spoiled it for everybody?
Did I? No.
Well, thanks for joining the show, everybody.
Moving on, Yo-Yo.
It's okay, you just pulled an absolute Leo.
Oh,
Like, if you guys don't know, Leo pulled some shit a while back ago where I wanted to know what happened. I didn't want to know what happened with Brightburn. And he goes, "Don't worry, Alex. All I'm going to say is that there are others." The fuck am I going to keep away from that?
How is that a spoiler?
Yeah,
I
I
don't-
wonder.
I don't get it. I've seen Brightburn. You're talking about The Others with Nicole Kidman?
No. After the movie, if you watch the credits, there's other superheroes within the
Oh.
universe.
Yeah, but James Gunn already said before the movie came out that it took place in the same universe as The Wrench or the Super, whatever that movie was called.
Super 8?
No, Super, the one where not Dakota Fanning. What is the Kitty
Ellen
Pryde's
Page.
name from the movies?
Ellen Page.
Ellen Page and Rainn Wilson play really crappy superheroes. She tries to rape him at one point in the movie. Kevin Bacon's the villain. But yeah, he said that is the same universe as Brightburn.
Yeah, and they all die. Oh, wait. Or how's that feel? Huh? Huh? It wasn't a spoiler. It's a good movie.
Okay. And just real quick, JD, I don't know how much time do you have tonight?
Whatever. I'm good.
So if you guys get tired, just let me know. But Yo-Yo, what about you? You got another show or comic for us?
Give me some time to think about that one, actually.
Okay.
I got one.
That, right?
Oh, wait, Leo, I have. Oh, go ahead.
Have you guys? There's a Taiwanese show called 13 Ghosts. It's like a teenage anthology series. It's on Netflix. It's the weirdest shit. I watched it just to decompress from stress a while back ago, and it's the weirdest show. It's got Taiwanese folklore. The sound mixing can be awful sometimes, but sometimes its weird schlockiness kind of comes with its charm. Oh god, it's really something. I don't like. They crank call this lady in one episode, and then like the spirit of whoever they called keeps like trying to call back to this person. Oh, it's so hard to describe as a show. Oh, there was in the first episode. There is a ghost where it's missing a head, and if you find its head, it will be mystery again. And you have to find the head, or you will also have your head lopped off, or something like that. It's something like that. It's like
very trippy.
Yeah, it's like those kind of like weird, like ghosty stories from over there. I still really want to check out Ju-On Origins.
I watched that. That was very strange. It is, despite the title sounds, it's not a prequel.
Oh,
it's mostly just apparently, quote unquote, from what I was able to read, it's basically stories that kind of inspired the Grudge. Almost like these. It's actually similar to how Black Summer is told in several events happening back to back. Different points of view of people being haunted by the presence in the house. It gets pretty weird and pretty messed up at times. It's pretty good, but I can't tell if it's going to have another season or it's supposed to be just one season. It was weird. It has some, because it gets really weird at the end, really confusing. But it does have some really weird ass shit too that I think people will get a kick out of. I don't want to say what it is because it is kind of fun when you get to see it.
Thank you for understanding that.
But I think it's going to be a mixed bag for other people too, because, as I said, the title sounds like you're going to get into why the house is haunted and all that stuff. But I mean, that's already told in the very first movie, after all.
yeah.
So, but it's actually just basically almost like these small stories and events that kind of inspired, I guess, inspired the main story or something like that. But check it out. It's not very long. It's pretty interesting, but it's also kind of weird.
I'm still down for that.
Yeah.
Weird is good.
I really like those. I like The Grudge, and I still was trying to get into the original Ju-on movies, so I'm all up for nice pale bendy ladies. Is always that sounded a lot worse than I meant.
Everyone has a fetish.
Yeah, I guess so.
Flexibility's good.
The first 2 episodes of the new season of Unsolved Mysteries were really effing good.
Oh, that's
shit.
Good. The first episode is a nationwide mystery, the murder of a former White House aide that was like a big advocate for veterans. He was, I think he was under Ronald Reagan. And the second episode is a woman who may have killed herself in her hotel room in Sweden. Very fancy woman, fancy hotel. And nobody knows who the hell she was.
Oh, wow.
And the guy who's investigating it thinks she might have been like a spy.
Wow.
Is that the one that happened in California where they found her in the
Europe?
Europe. Okay,
Tank.
that just sounds familiar to the one I'm talking about, though, right?
That's similar to that one.
Player is like beautiful. She is like stunningly beautiful. Probably the most beautiful woman I've seen on Unsolved Mysteries ever. She's got like really short black hair, and they dress her up in very movie star clothes.
You didn't call her Drop Dead Gorgeous, did you?
Oh.
A lot of people kept asking Sarah French if she was going to be on Unsolved Mysteries because she kept promoting it a lot. And everyone's like, oh my God, did you get on Unsolved Mysteries? Are you going to die on Unsolved Mysteries? She's like, no, my agent's not that good.
So do they go back to the previous series and say, any updates on any of them? Because it seemed like a couple of shows were like softballs.
No, and only one episode this season has to do with the supernatural. The rest are like missing people. Who the hell were they? Why did they die? Only one episode has to do with the tsunami in Japan. Everyone thought they saw ghosts after the tsunami left.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's that's next on our list to watch. We're finishing up, what the hell is it? Fargo. We just started watching that show. We're got one episode left of season 2, and then we'll hop off to something else. Yo-Yo, you said you needed a minute. Did you come up with something?
I mean, I know it's already been brought up, but I can't help but not think about Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up watching that late at night. You can never go wrong with it.
Do you have a particular episode you think of? Oh, sorry, JD.
Oh, I was just going to agree. So that was a great show. I did the same thing growing up watching that. There's 100 great episodes of that one.
Unsolved Mysteries?
Well, that too. We were saying Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, Tales from the Crypt. Didn't they only do 100 episodes? Every season was very short.
That sounds about right. I'll go with that. Sure. About 100 episodes.
They were supposed to bring it back a few years ago. M. Night Shyamalan. That guy.
Shyamalan.
And
Ding dong.
Poof, disappeared 2 years ago.
He airbended away.
You can watch a teaser on YouTube. You can see a camera going down a corridor. You hear
remember that. Yeah.
It was on TV too, and everyone was like, "When's Tales from the Crypt coming back, John Cassier?" And he's like, "I don't know."
What a twist! It's so elusive, even he doesn't know.
It's kind of like those, the other 2 versions of Lock and Key that were produced, that if you actually got to see them, I like the Netflix show, but that original Fox show and then the original, I think it was going to be on AMC show, looked a lot better than the Netflix TV series we eventually got. And I like the Netflix series, but I think the Netflix series has toned stuff down.
I'll have to see, because I actually brought that up before you showed up. I haven't seen the show yet, but I was a big fan of the books.
And you know they're doing a Lock and Key Sandman crossover?
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to come out in trade paperback because I have all the Lock and Keys and those hardcover spines, so it looks really nice on your shelf.
Where were you able to find those original pilots for the original Lock and Keys? I'd actually really like to see that.
Is somebody a pirate?
There's
Oh,
no. There's a company up in Maine and New Hampshire that makes the actual keys you could really buy, as well as Hellboy's gun and stuff like that. They're legit, all fully officially licensed stuff. And I got to know the guy who ran the company, and he sent me the original Fox pilot.
No kidding. I'd love to see that.
Actually, it's just Google it, and looks like he put it available for Vimeo.
Really?
Yeah, I got it right up to 2011 Fox pilot.
And everyone looks like the way they're supposed to in the comic book compared to the Netflix show, where, again, it's okay. But honestly, if you read the comic book, you realize they have toned that Netflix show down for children.
Right.
I mean, Mom's entire story is completely different, which is okay, but she also doesn't look like the mom from the comic. I mean, nobody looks like the way they do.
I just emailed it to
I
you.
guess that's fair.
Thanks.
Welcome.
I'm sure they're also trying to market towards the Stranger Things crowd as well for their Netflix analytics.
Which makes sense because they want, you got to have a bunch of things to fill that algorithm.
Yeah, you don't want to have too many, collar polls with certain scenes they could have added in. I mean, if they wanted to do that, they could have went with the original stuff they did for the original, It novel. But I'm glad they didn't. I enjoyed the one they went with.
Yeah, there's sometimes that you don't want to vary from the source material, and there's times you really should vary from the source material. It being the best example.
Have you guys ever talked about the fact that, speaking of IDW, they've had 4 editors-in-chief or publishers in the last 5 years?
Did they?
Yeah, Chris Rahall left, he came back after the last guy quit, and then this year alone, they've had this year and last year, they've had 2 or 3. They don't seem to keep somebody in the same position at that company. Plus all of the problems they've had financially. They took a $300 million bath last year.
Oh, wow.
I didn't realize it was that bad. I know Chris Rahall was there forever. And
$30 million. $30 million bath.
Still not good.
Not good. And plus, all their TV series have been hit or miss. I mean, Winona Earp took forever to get renewed due to contracts with the company. They didn't renew the Midnight October faction, which, by the way, again, another TV series that doesn't look anything like the comic book. The comic book looks like the Addams Family, but they solve supernatural crimes.
That sounds more
TV
interesting.
show does not look like the Addams Family. You look at the original artwork by Damian Wormwood, if you can Google it, and Steve Niles for the October faction, and then look at the TV show. They're so different.
For Lock and Key?
No, the October faction.
Oh, okay. I was I never heard of the October. I was thinking, that's not it at all.
They dedicated 2 episodes of the October faction TV show to a bullying storyline at school, only to find out the bully is gay and in a closet, and this whole the brother trying to bring him out of it. And that in the comic book is just a one-note a footnote of the brother's gay. Let's move on with the supernatural mumbo jumbo of the story, and then fighting monsters. The town sheriff is a werewolf in disguise, and mom and dad aren't really who the mom and dad say they are.
I'm not gonna lie, it sounds like a Twilight pitch.
It's a great comic book, and the artwork is dark.
Yeah, his art is really cool.
The show was bright and sunny, and
yeah, I started watching the show. I think I got 2 episodes in before I bailed on it. Kept on meaning to go back to it, but
don't.
No.
I mean, I'm pissed if V-Wars got canceled this year, but
yeah. Yeah, Netflix has been doing a lot of canceling lately, which is
they're very notorious for that. That's why it's always a toss up of what if the series you get into is going to last or not. I mean, they fucking axed the Dark Crystal.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
So back in the day,
It's a matter of how much money they're spending on.
Yeah.
Like they don't make money.
Yeah, Disney might just want to
They
do that
literally
themselves.
bleed money. Like
At least I think they're going to get a bigger influx of animation now, which I'm excited for, because now more people are working from home, and especially animators, and so a bunch of stuff is coming, and I'm excited for that. And because of Netflix not giving too many notes or restrictions, there's going to be a bunch of artists that are going to go absolutely ape shit, and I'm excited for what that could mean.
Yeah, the
He-Man
new,
coming.
yeah, He-Man from Kevin Smith, and
Can I also say, can we stop reviving old shit? Can we just allow new shit every once in a while?
Going back to Dexter and Animaniacs, right?
It's too hard to make money on new shit. The old shit, you know, you're gonna get something from it.
Well, this is all I want. I want to have a new concept that's great for people to go like, oh, that was a thing, it to bomb, and people to watch it, then become a cult classic, then become nostalgic, and then get rebooted, like how every single thing you ever loved becomes, and now you're continuing the cycle, you toxic motherfuckers.
it's all to make. We know it's all to make.
I love He-Man. That's great. What about the next He-Man? No, you're not going to watch it until in hindsight.
When are we going to get our Manimal remake? Or Automan?
You'll get it soon, and plus everybody wants a reboot of Turbo Teen, but we can't afford that body horror yet.
Or,
I want to reboot a reboot, but that's me.
Weren't they going to do a Great American Hero?
Wait, what? You want a reboot of what? Yo, what'd you want?
Me? Yeah, reboot a reboot.
You want a reboot?
They did reboot again.
Yeah, but they screwed it up by making it live action with people. The whole point of like people watching reboot is for it to be CG. Not Power Rangers, because guess what? Power Rangers exist and they never stop rebooting.
The announcement they made an announcement they're going to do a Power Rangers cinematic TV universe, and everyone said that's already what the Power Rangers are.
Thank God, finally. I'm glad we're talking about horror on this show.
Power Rangers and
the eldritch horror that is the Power Rangers, which I do believe actually have a horror comic.
Dragon Lord. Hey, we all look at Power Rangers right now. With the, they would break out.
I have to say,
I want someone to pull up
never
an
got
emblem of just
into,
Dagon and then just go completely ape shit.
I have to say, I never got into. Power
I'm sure Jason David Frank I'm sure Jason David Frank is all over that right now. I mean, they literally reinvented Power Rangers a few years ago with the the Boom Studios comic books, and then they created the Dark Universe Power Rangers, where Tommy was a super maniacal bad guy. And...
Oh yeah, I remember seeing stuff about that. It's just like I love when sometimes things keep continuing to get rebooted to the point where it becomes less fan fiction and more of like an insane ransom note. Where it's like, this is a universe where everyone would just went ape shit. And just like, I mean, hell, one of my favorite Batman books is is White Knights, where Joker goes sane and sues Gotham. That's awesome.
And now its fourth book is coming out. Can't you wait for the fourth series? That is something that should have been one and done.
Nope, because good ideas must be run into the ground.
Oh, you mean like Transformers? Which, by the way, speaking of comebacks, they're bringing back Beast Wars.
As a movie, a show?
They revealed that the next, the Beast Wars are coming into the Netflix show. Plus, there is a ton of Beast Wars toys coming.
Well, the Netflix. So this is a great marketing and I know this is totally not horror, but it's the horror of marketing. I heard about the new Transformers toys before they did the TV show, and so they're coming out with a line with each series. So Earthrise is the next one that's out. And then same with He-Man. There's a whole huge line of He-Man Netflix toys out, which is great.
He-Man.
Was this Reddit?
I belong to some Transformers communities.
It was Reddit, you know.
You're always you always spoil stuff for yourself too. Where you go to the fucking dark web to get this information on.
Franklin Geller.
I'm sure you're like looking through these like foreign sites and stuff and like deciphering small things, ignoring all the human trafficking just to find out like what next Transformer toys are coming out.
Oh my God, they leaked a picture TFW last week. There's some company in Korea that does like some of the safety testing, and there was a real pixelated image of like the next toy coming out. It's crazy.
Pixelated?
Yeah, it's very pixelated. But you can make out. There's the new Grimlock coming out. They're doing like a G.
Why is no one talking about that UFO that was hanging next to the planet? That weird black spaceship thing? There's more analysis on this Transformer.
Alex, was it making whale sounds?
Okay, Alex.
The other side of the planet. Aren't you guys paying attention?
No.
Supposed to hit us the day before the election.
What do we miss, Alex?
You guys don't know anything about the reptilians.
Actually, Leo,
you'll have to play this episode again to get my secret message.
Leo, I have horror comic book news.
Go for it.
That thing that we were trying to figure out when to schedule.
Remind me. Oh yeah. Yeah. Go. You want to talk about it now?
I mean, if you don't mind, I may as well, because it launches tomorrow. Alex knows about it.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So tomorrow, I don't have anything artwork here to even show on camera. But if you can see like that, that's like the most piece of artwork that I actually have physically with me. So tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we're launching the Kickstarter for Vlada, a Dracula tale, where we take the entire cast of Dracula and we gender swap them. And it's going to be, I do have something. It's going to be a graphic novel similar to Bernie Wrightson's Frankenstein.
Nice.
And some of the artists aboard for it are Matt Slay, Tim Vigil, who's this longtime comic book artist. Ken Hunt is the main artist. Wendy Sheeran and the creators of The Living Corpse. They've all provided covers. Kara Nicole, the cosplayer, has done a cover. And it's going to be like a 70-page graphic novel of pictures and words. Not necessarily a comic book, but all drawn by comic book artists. Very much like this.
And Kickstarter comes out tomorrow. You're launching it tomorrow.
11 o'clock.
Awesome.
Nice.
We have we have like the whole thing already set up. We're just waiting to hit the little button that says launch.
Awesome. Yeah,
just hit delete. Say fuck it and walk home.
Just message me when it's live, and then we'll post it across the network.
That sounds awesome, man.
Thank you. We did a short video. Oh my God, 6 years ago, we tried this once to raise money for a movie, and it was a disaster. And the Kickstarter is still up there. I mean, it's failed, but it looks like garbage. But the short film we made was called Dracula's Guest, where our version of Dracula meets our version of Renfield. And then we did a prequel comic book in 2016, which actually got made and made its debut at That's Entertainment. With like Derek Rook was doing something there as well on a Halloween weekend called Resurrection of Dracula, where we explain like how did she become a vampire, and we take everything from every kind of little piece of Dracula knowledge that you're familiar with. But what was really nice is that our version of Dracula, we're calling her Vlada to give it some distinction and make it our own. She's based off of Julie Carmen's character Regine Dandridge from Fright Night Part 2, and I've told that to Julie when she came on my show, and she was like, absolutely, honored to have like a character kind of based on her character.
That's really awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope to hit our goal this weekend. We need $2,000 to start, and that's the main goal, to print it. So after that, it's just
you guys should get that. $2,000's not that hard to get up on Kickstarter. Like that.
No, but I have the worst self-doubt, depression, like, this.
Stop being a pussy and just do it. There's your self-depression. Nah, just do it.
That's what Karen Nicole has said. Stop being such a pussy. But we hope to hit
If you can take anything home tonight from the Dorkening podcast, it's to go back, sit back, and try not to be a pussy.
Good advice.
But I definitely need as much, many people sharing it. If you don't have Kickstarter, anyone listening, we completely understand. We're not asking people to go create a brand new Kickstarter account. It's annoying. We don't actually like Kickstarter, but it's useful,
Well, you don't want to say that. It's for those of us that love supporting indie artists. It doesn't take much to create a Kickstarter.
No, but we understand
you have to be careful though. You have to be careful though when you try to support it, because sometimes like a project ends up being dead in the water even after being funded.
Yeah.
Communication with the people who are supporting you is very important. Is very vital. And also being able to plan everything out carefully. Don't set your goals too high, because like one example, there was a video game I was looking forward to called Visage, which was
Wait, that good?
What?
Wait, did that do okay? I heard great things about that game.
It got funded and had 2 chapters released, but it has never met its goal of being released this year, and the creators have not talked to anybody since like February.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No, we're making
a thing.
I mean, it's all over the Kickstarter that I do the radio show, the podcast, the Hammer Horror thing with you, and Radio Horror and stuff like that. I mean, I'm pretty accessible to, if something gets missed, to be like, hey, I'll be like, yeah, here it is.
See, here's the thing. I've ran 3 Kickstarters and like successful Kickstarters in my career. So I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with going out there and pushing and being excited about a Kickstarter. The thing with Kickstarter is too many people view it like GoFundMe, where you're actually looking to raise money. Kickstarter's not. Kickstarter's a sales platform. You're going out there and you're selling yourself, you're selling your book, you're selling whatever. And like, the more excited you are about it, the more you're willing to go out there and talk about stuff, the more likely you are to succeed. And the big mistake people make is they take things to Kickstarter too soon. And so you wind up with horror stories like you just told, Dave. Like, that's the worst thing you can do. Like, I'm a Tyler James guy. Like, I come from comics launch and taking his courses and learned how to do a Kickstarter. And like, there's right ways to do it. And the best way to do it is have it done beforehand. Like, having it done is the best thing you can do. But if not, but not everyone does it like that. And as long as you're in constant communication with your backers, you keep them excited about your product, people are super forgiving about stuff. Because my first Kickstarter didn't work out, and then I learned how to do it. We just ran a Kickstarter for my Harvest Moon novel, and I set the goal really low, because novels are super not good on Kickstarter. It's like one of the worst platforms there. I funded in 6 hours, and we wound up with 5 times the ask. For a novel, $2,500 for a novel, like that's okay. And but it's all about just going out there and treating it like business and saying, hey man, we got this book, we're super excited about it. Like that's why I'm here, because I love talking about my books. I love talking to people who like what I like and getting the word out. So I mean, like, I'm going to tell people, you don't have to say it, I'm going to say it. If you don't have Kickstarter, get your ass on there and sign up for this and check out this guy's book, because I'm going to back this thing. I've backed over 150 Kickstarters in my life. Wow. I love Kickstarter. I believe in Kickstarter. Kickstarter has touched the careers of so many of my friends that I love it. I'm going to back your project, and I'm going to share it with people.
Leo, can you see the screen that I'm sharing? I don't know how the share screen work.
Yeah, okay.
I see the picture. Yeah.
Can you see that?
Enhance.
Looks good, man. Like, I'm digging it. I like the high concept.
Oh, that is cool.
Get out there and just push that thing, man.
Let me show you. Okay, so this is Tim. If you know who Tim Vigil is, he's been in the comic book industry for 40 years.
Oh, looks good.
Yeah, that's it.
Like especially with comics, man. If you have a high concept that's different in some way, shape, or form, and you just pip the thing, man, it's gonna work. Like, I think you're going to get that and you're going to nail it and just kill it. I'm excited.
Jerks Production says we're launching an Indiegogo in November, so any and all advice you are giving is gold.
Go for it. Like, the thing with these crowdfunding campaigns, you cannot promote it enough. And yes, you are going to wear your channel out, but don't do it. Don't do run back to back to back to back. Space them out. Do 4 a year tops would be what I would say. Just never try to stop finding new people. Like, I just met Leo the other day, and that's how I got on here. And my Kickstarter's done, but I'm still selling books on Amazon. So I mean, like, don't be. I don't want to be afraid, but I mean, don't worry about trying to meet people. I did 22 podcasts when I was doing the most recent Kickstarter. It didn't all work. But at the same time, I got to find readers, and you got to find people that back. And like, there's a good chance, like I said, I'm listening to you guys and I dig this. Like, I think we all kind of have similar thoughts. So, I mean, like, there's a chance that people listening to you are going to like the stuff I do. So if you get yourself out and find some different people to talk to, there's a good chance that someone doesn't know who you are is going to discover you and want to pick up your stuff. Like, I love talking about crowdfunding.
And going with what you said, we were going to do like one Kickstarter, do like a 3-issue series. But this whole year, we've been like talking about it. And we're like, I don't want to wait another 6 months and then have to launch another Kickstarter. I'd rather do this as one book. How can we do this as one book? And that's when he came up with the idea about, hey, have you ever read this? And I was like, I've heard of it. He's like, it might not be your it's not the original version of Dracula we're doing. We wanted to give it a, women in power, feminist spin to it, which is what it's been for the last 5 years. But he pointed this out and said, why don't we do it like Bernie Wrightson did?
Love the idea, man.
Which is like 50 images in here, by the way. We're only doing like 20 in ours, 20, 22 roughly. So, but you can go on the Vlada Facebook thing and take a look at Ken's fine detail artwork of the castle image. It's so unbelievably detailed. And everyone who's seen it has been asking, did you sell the original artwork yet? And he's like, yes. We'll sell it on the Kickstarter. Go to Kickstarter and buy the original artwork.
Yep, that's what you got to do. You got to bait people in. You got to give them incentives. There's tons of I've seen tons of cool things. Like, I got a lot of friends from Comics Launch and Comics Experience that they do one issue at a time. Like, I have my friend Kevin Joseph. He's got his book Tart, and he literally kickstarts every issue, and he'll do a Kickstarter probably once every 3 months. And I have my buddy Clay Adams. He has his Fried Comics books. Every few months, he'll put another one out. And the beauty of Kickstarter is that's how you build your base. That's how you build your fans. And that is the best way to do it now, because you get to latch onto the Kickstarter brand name, and people trust Kickstarter, right? You put that little K symbol in the corner of everything. People go, "Oh, I know Kickstarter. They're not going to steal my money." And it's just you get to ride on that, and you're directly interacting with your buyers. You're directly interacting with potential fans, and there's no better way to bring a creative project into the world. Because I've done stuff on Amazon the way you're supposed to, where you just launch a book, and oftentimes it just goes over like a fart. Like, it could be a great book, but if you don't have the right channels to do it, you're nothing. Whereas you put a Kickstarter out, you build a campaign around it and make it an event, and all of a sudden you're giving people a reason to go. Like, you say, I got a book, people are like, oh, that's cool. You say, I got a Kickstarter going on, people are a little bit more interested. I don't know why. There's just this there's a psychological thing that hits people.
It's the anticipation.
Yeah, it's the idea of building an event around a book. Right? Because everybody wants to be involved in an event. Events are cool.
Yeah, here's an example. There's an awesome visual novel that's being made called Scarlet Hollow. Which has the first episode. It's an episodic story about a protagonist who returns to their hometown that has a lot of weird supernatural stuff going wrong there. And the first episode is made free, so people can get into everything like that and see if they really like it. And there's a whole bunch of anticipation built around it. And it gets people interested. It gets people to taste. It's like, hey, there's more of this if you can give us support. And the creators are doing a really good job of giving incentives of animated cutscenes and stuff like that, things like that, to really give some growth to the project if they get more support. But there's also a thing a lot of creators to be very careful of is how likely are you to reach those goals or stretch goals?
Stretch goals are tricky. Like some people, when they're building these Kickstarter campaigns, they think about their stretch goals more so than they think about their actual goals. So it really depends on what you're looking for. Like, what is the actual goal? Is the goal just to fund it? Like with our book, I didn't know what to do. It was a novel, so I didn't plan on any stretch goals. Consequently, the first 2 weeks of the campaign were gangbusters. The last 2 weeks were those great. Because we didn't build in the proper stretches. So it really depends on what you're looking to do. Like I know creators that don't do stretch goals. They nope, you get too bogged into it. Like I'm just going to focus on task at hand. Russell Nolte's a really good comic writer / novelist who does these big expansive Kickstarters, and he has like these levels upon levels of stretch goals. But he plans it from the get go, and he knows what he's doing, and he brings in tens of thousands of dollars every time he tries it. So it all really depends on what you have. And as long as you have that plan and stick to your plan and don't vary outside of it, you can crush on Kickstarter.
We have the same way. Almost, I did a Kickstarter today because the artist is actually on a on again, off again book tour between stores with takes a long time to get to the crowd because of the restrictions they have in place. He works for Brian Polito for Coffin Comics, and he's a Lady Death artist. And so all day today, he hasn't touched the Kickstarter because we got everything prepared yesterday. There's one thing we left out, though, which I'm still wondering if we need to add after we've hit the main goal or not, is we don't have any stretch goal perks. We don't have that listed yet. We have all the art for the book that you can buy. And we said, yeah, we're going to have stretch goal perks, but it ain't going to do any good if we don't have the main goal hit first. So we'll put the stretch goals on there after we've actually hit our main goal. And
that's not a bad idea. This is your first one, right?
What was that?
This is your first Kickstarter, right?
Right.
Like you never run another one? Yeah, so make sure, focus on, because you can always add on to your story. You can always add those kits.
That's what I was worried about. I was worried about, can I add any, do everything have to be on there now? And Wendy, who does Stripper Fairy Assassins, if you've ever seen that book, she's had one successful Kickstarter after another. And she's like, no, you can continue building. If you don't want to stick your stretch goals on there right now, don't worry about it. When you hit your main goal, then you announce, hey, by the way, you get this. And don't make it a big deal. We're going to make it a print and a sticker.
Exactly.
We're going to make the stretch goal a print and a bookmark. We're not going to go, you're going to get a leather jacket. You're going to get a face tattoo. You're going to get condoms.
I would put that for an unfairly large one. If you got somewhere up in the millions, just put it up there just to see if people are that daring.
But have you seen Brian Polito's Kickstarters? He gives he's got trophies and glasses and t-shirts and condoms and metal coins and wooden coins and 30 million different prints and extra books and tattoos and everything else. And we're that just exhausted me reading through every one of his Kickstarters. It is.
And if you have the means to make that kind of stuff profitable for you, go for it. Because I have talked to people too that put so much extra effort into their stretch goals that they wound up kind of not being able to actually fund what they were doing, or they weren't taking
agreed that we'll just he knows a good print place because he's an artist. Perfect. We're just going to do prints of the covers. Let's say you just got one cover, you'll get a print of a different cover, and you get a bookmark. Bookmarks cost shit to print. They're the same. They're like business cards. You get 100 business cards for $10. You get 50 bookmarks for $20 or whatever.
Keep it simple. And also another little bit of advice for international shipping: use Australia for everything.
We have the international shipping rate pretty damn high because of it's pretty fucking high right now. Sorry,
it is. That's why for my books we used Australia as that's it. Everything's big because Australia is the most expensive place to ship to right now. So you're building yourself a little bit of a cushion by just basing everything off Australia.
All the original artwork that we're going to ship out is going to ship from the artist the day we have the money before the book comes out, because it's going to ship from the artist to you. As long as we have the money, the shipping on it, you're going to pay $30 in shipping for an original piece of art, because we're going to encase it in something that it's not going to get damaged.
Good. Make sure you build it into the cost, and you guys are good to go.
Yep, we got that all. The only thing we don't have in is the stretch goals, which now I'm thinking about it, we might not put it on there. but it's listed on every single reward tier that you'll get the digital copy, the book, and you'll get whatever stretch goals are unlocked. But we don't have the stretch goals on the Kickstarter. Again, I don't want to waste time putting them on there until we actually hit our goal.
Don't hit the goal, and you can. That's the cool thing about it is you can always add on to the campaign as you go, and it also gives your backers a reason to come back to the page.
Should we take off the individual reward tiers that there is a stretch goal? Just keep it on.
For right now, you can. I mean, stretch goals are a little presumptuous too. Like if it were like from my education,
we have it worded as any stretch goals unlocked. That's what you get.
Yeah, if it's unlocked, it's good. Yeah, you can do that.
I mean, at the beginning of the Kickstarter, if the first thing you're going to is what am I going to get for free that I fund you? Are you really interested in the book, or you're interested in the fucking stupid piece of print you're going to get?
There's some people that are interested in the stupid piece of print. Like there's some people that just love all the perks. Like I mean, one of the best things you can do is give them something for free. For visiting, do something digital. Hey, you visited, have this. For the novel, I gave away the first 10 chapters. Here you go. I believe in my book. Here's 10 chapters of it.
If you're able to get a hand on sketches, you could probably use that as a digital download for people.
And digital downloads are the best. Digital rewards are your best rewards because that's pure profit for your campaign. So the more PDFs you sell, or whatever, however you're doing your digital stuff, that's great. Those are the best because they don't cost you anything.
Our digital reward that wouldn't work. We kind of exposed a lot of the artwork online.
That's okay. I mean, like don't be afraid to try or to put together like a book.
You can compilate them all into one place, and you can add commentary to it as a bonus.
Yep. Audio commentary is another great one. It just costs you time to have it recorded. Like anything you can
do an audiobook, but we didn't get the audiobook together in time to launch, and I didn't want to put it with the Kickstarter, but I didn't actually have the audiobook yet.
You could. I mean, it depends on when you want to deliver. I mean, like I said, there's time, and you've got. Did you go for a full month campaign or 2 weeks? What did you guys go with?
We went for a full month. I mean, I have plans to hopefully record the audiobook within the next couple of weeks, but I gotta wait for the damn script to come back completely edited because it's still got like grammar and spelling issues that are driving me nuts, and the actress was driven a little nuts by it too. So,
I get it. Like I said, the more digital stuff you can use as perks, the better off you're going to be because that's just going to help you. You're going to need that extra little bit of money for stuff that goes wrong.
And Yo-Yo, what were you trying to say?
The digital ones, doing high quality versions of it, or the.
Oh, there you go.
Or what was the question?
No, he was saying include high quality digital versions.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Hey guys, I'm sorry, I just got a 4-year-old threw up on the couch, so I have to go fix that.
Truly horror.
Yes, we've gone full speed, and we're in full Lovecraftian mode here. I have to go exercise a demon, I think.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, JD. And just real quickly, your 2 books are in the show notes, and the names of them again are
Hawk Hollow and Harvest Moon.
Sounds good. And all the information for JD is down below. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys. I had a blast. Thank you.
Nice to meet you, JD. Take it easy.
Good luck with everything, and good luck with that especially.
Yeah, you guys. I can't wait to listen to the show next week. I like what you guys do. Thank you.
Later. Oh no.
Well, I know
the kid got to the computer.
Yeah.
Speaking of horror, did you?
I was going to say, I know we're running late and a couple of us need to work tomorrow. So we'll start wrapping things up. What were you going to say, Chris?
I was going to say, speaking of horror, did you guys discuss what happened in Salem today with the governor?
No.
Yeah. Salem is closed for Halloween.
Damn.
I think that's smart. Right?
But holy crap.
If you go to,
this is the plot for Hocus Pocus
Radio,
2.
Facebook page. It's got this up.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got, the late, great John Candy doing his vacation. Sorry, folks. Salem's closed.
Yeah, I think it's smart. It's we don't need. I mean, we're already in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's the Portland community is going to be hurting though because they rely so much on the tourist attractions and stuff like that.
Yep.
I think a lot of businesses are going to be completely closed down before next year because of this.
Some reporter actually asked the mayor, "So how much money do you normally make at Halloween time in Salem? And she said, I don't know. Next question.
I'm sorry it's got to hurt you, Abe. I mean, you are a familiar after all.
I'll find more witches.
They
I get all the witches.
The saddest part of the press conference is when Charlie Baker brought up Adam Sandler's crappy Halloween movie. The comment section turned against him very quickly.
I mean, this whole thing feels like a setup for Hocus Pocus 2, where like you have the excuse to not have background extras around.
They're doing Hocus Pocus next week. Elvira is doing it with the cast.
Oh wow.
Ooh, that's a delicious mixture of like peanut butter and cocaine right there.
Yeah, it was on Twitter. Something about Elvira is going to host a Hocus Pocus reunion with the witches, like as themselves. By the way, doesn't the remake of The Witches and The Craft come out the same weekend? Is everyone excited for that? Yay!
Yeah.
That's really got to hurt people who really want to go to Salem and they just are taunted with all these movies about like how cool Salem is.
No, they should watch Lords of Salem and they'll see how really cool it is.
I went last week.
You what?
What was that?
Yo, what'd you say?
I went last week, so I'm happy I did that.
Oh, you went last week.
You're brave.
I love every time we address Yo-Yo, he just goes dead silent.
It's like a cat. You caught him.
Yeah. For everybody still watching or listening, I want to urge you, we love supporting indie artists. Look for our Facebook page for Chris's Kickstarter. We'll have the information for that. Also, head on over to Ariascope's website. It's in the show notes. And pick up your copy of Hatchet Halloween Tales 2. And if you buy it from that link, most likely Adam Green will sign it. And the artwork inside is done by our very...
One of the stories is done by me.
Yes.
Many other artists were involved, but also pick it up as soon as you can if you want an autograph from Adam Green, because who knows how many there are left. So you definitely want to go grab them there.
Now, it should be an animation. I said your stuff should be an animation. There should be like, all these companies that are hungry for content till Hollywood gets open again. They should be like, hey, you can draw like cartoons. Can you draw 300 like cartoons?
I still kind of get that. I think I probably want to be a character designer first before I actually get in the loop of horribleness of what's that? What's that?
But what if they offered you a job like co-showrunner or something as the artist show? I don't know what the different titles are in animation.
I would not do the show because I have no evidence of my skill. I would be terrified of like, why would you hire me? This is shifty. I would say no, unless I knew what my connections were.
And then the Warner Brothers say, we can write as many zeros on this check as you need, Mr. Hoey.
Why? Why me?
Well, for inexperienced showrunners, they did hire D&D for the Game of Thrones.
Right. And I'll just say I'm your agent and I'll handle it.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting in my cruise ship in the Bahamas with the money I stole.
You'd be like Barry from Alan Wake. You would just be good, but I don't. No, you'd be a dick.
What I'm doing is, because if you're a fan of Unsolved Mysteries, I'm setting up your own Unsolved Mystery by taking the money and running. And then
that's why, regardless, even if you claim to be my agent, for a millisecond, your neck would be snapped by my mom. Because she's my self-proclaimed agent, as every convention I ever had brought her over with. She takes claim of all PR and everything else. She's made contact with people before I could actually talk to them that I legitimately was going to have a deep conversation with. And they always bring up like, oh yeah, I was just talking to your mom. And it's like, what is this? This isn't like a hangover sleep out. I bring up my mom to a con and it's just, God. I was talking to Adam Green and my mom was like, just don't say anything. Just let me talk.
The way you described your mom, it was like the Colonel and Elvis. You know how he ran Elvis's career?
Not so bad, but
He never went overseas like he wanted to.
Well,
No,
I want,
not like that too extreme. You guys have met her, and you've been officially adopted by her as soon as she meets you. God forbid every girl that comes into my house is suddenly, my mom's daughter-in-law.
As long as you don't like nullify your mom's remains when she, if she passes away, and you're like wearing her dress, and then we're like, you're like running back and forth between the bathroom and your floor is your mother and you. And
Oh, I would never do that.
You wouldn't hurt a fly.
come to think of it, we
That
haven't
would be psychotic.
we haven't seen Alex.
It'd be
And,
like,
see, there you
what's
go.
that?
I see the
What's
inspiration.
saying, Leo?
oh, I was gonna say, come to think of it, we haven't seen Alex and your mother in the same room. So maybe
Well, she said the same thing when she tried to save me from those mean campers when I was drowning in the lake.
There you go.
well,
And I'm back, and she really got ahead.
Draw Norman Bates. Draw the shower scene. Draw the Bates Hotel.
If he had a butler, do you think he would call him master? Delayed.
on that note, I want to thank everybody for watching this fine evening. Definitely check out the show notes down below or up above, depending on where you're watching or listening, to follow our awesome guests here. Abe, where do you like people interacting with you on social media?
You can find me on Facebook. I usually hang around with the Dark Discussions page and the folks there. You can find us there. You can also look up our main site as darkdiscussions.com. All the episodes that we have recorded, or at least most of them are up right now for free to be listened to. You'll also find some articles and other links to other sites there if you wanted to pay them a visit. We record every Wednesday or whatever days that we can manage. The topics we cover are vary from interviews to current films to past films. We also have a Patreon. We could really use the support. It costs money to record the episodes and the equipment and stuff like that. And especially, it comes with a little bonus that as a patron, you can suggest a film for us. And we can pull that out of a number of other suggestions, and if you get picked, we'll talk about the film or show that you really want us to look at, for better or worse. But hey, we'll do it just for you. So come by and hope have a spooky time.
Cool. And we got the links for Dark Discussions in the show notes. How about you, Chris?
I do the show on the Dorkening Network with my co-host Ro. Boobs, Blood, and Badasses, the Hammer Horror Podcast, and we've got a new episode, the final film of the Frankenstein series, coming up very, very soon. Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. I have the excuse me. You can follow Ro at Ro Lauren with a 0 instead of an O on Twitter just to find her. She's a fantastic model, and our show's on the Dorkening Network, and my what am I doing tomorrow? The Kickstarter, Vlada, a Dracula Tale, launches at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We need all the support, all the shares, all the funds that we can get to hit the goal and then go beyond the goal. We got great stuff. We got a lot of great artwork for that thing that you can, own a piece of.
Sounds good. We'll look for that. Alex.
I also love how Abe's voice fits that cat's face so perfectly.
It does.
Especially the close-up in on it. Also definitely support the Vladula. That's how you pronounce it, right?
Vlada.
Vlada. Definitely go support the Vlada Kickstarter that comes out tomorrow. So I'm Alex Hoey. You can follow me on my Twitter, pure_Alex Hoey on Twitter, pure_Alex_Hoey on Instagram, and check out my artwork there. I have a Patreon, and I have the comic book that came out with Adam Green, the Hatchet Halloween Tales Volume 2, which is a super fun book. I'm glad I was able to do it, and cool stuff is coming. I guess I'll leave on that, and I'm excited for the spooky season especially.
Nice. Yo.
Bamutson on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Yo Saint Laurent on the same social media channels, and of course, you can find me here.
Okay. And for me, just Google Leo Pine to find a bunch of stuff. Could be true, could be not. I'm not going to say which is which, but more importantly, follow our awesome guests. And we're all in this together. We all need to support each other. And what's the saying? Raising tide raises all boats, or something like that. So support indie artists, and it's what we got to do right now. Head on over to thedorkening.com, which you can find more shows on the network. And with that, we'll catch you guys later. Bye.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
I guess Chris just left.
Bye.